like us going into the Jacksonville Jaguars, and their schedule for 2022 looks like this, with only one primetime game, Week 16 on Thursday Night Football against the New York Jets. They do have a big Week 15 matchup against the Dallas Cowboys in Jacksonville that it's big for us here in Sac City, because
Duval,
hey, we
I'll
take
be
it
there.
over. We're going to take over Week 15 when the Cowboys come to town, and hopefully the Jaguars can put up a good fight. Dylan, you can start it off, buddy. What's the big storyline for the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2022?
Off seasons don't win games. Games win games. You got to win football games in order to win football games, and the Jaguars haven't done a lot of that over the last few years. They haven't won more than 6 games since the marvelous 2017 run, which still baffles me to this day. But look, they drop buckets, right? This year they go over $100 million more of spent money that they have, and this is a chance for them to try to get back on track. Last year, you had the disaster that was Urban Meyer, that he brought in his own guys. This is your chance. They try bringing in and spending a lot of money and trying to buy wins. And if you watched the movie Moneyball in baseball, you can't buy wins. You got to buy players. And you're trying to buy wins, not buy players, is what you're trying to do. And the Jaguars here, they bought players, whether it's Christian Kirk, whether it's Brandon Sheriff. All these guys are nice additions. They need to translate that into wins. And I said the similar thing to the Lions last Wednesday, but that was heart to wins. This is money to wins, and the Jaguars need to win, and they haven't done a lot of that lately.
So my storyline here is going to be, you guys should like this one. You should be very happy. It's a connection between Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence. Doug Peterson, I think, is going to be a much, much improved coach as compared to Urban Meyer there. But what Doug Peterson's been to quarterback since he's basically been in this league since he was a player and, winning a Super Bowl behind Brett Favre in 96, I think about how he is going to help progress him in his second year. Look at the guys that Doug Peterson has brought along. When Mike Vick came back into the league for Philadelphia, he was a quarterback coach there. And while they weren't, winning Super Bowls or going deep playoff runs, Mike Vick came back into the league and was able to progress. Alex Smith in Kansas City. I remember, I think it was 2015. They started 1-5. Andy Reid says, hey, Doug, go ahead and work with Alex. Take over the play calling. They win 10 straight games. Carson Wentz, what he is now, yeah, sure, we can talk about that forever. But his rookie season, everyone talked about him like it was gangbusters. His first 2 years, he had 7,000 yards and 49 touchdowns. And then he goes on to win the Super Bowl with Nick Foles after Carson Wentz gets hurt late in the season. So now you go with a generational talent, a number 1 overall pick, a guy that we all expect big things from, despite what we saw last year. And you get Doug Peterson, a guy who will invest in an offensive line, who will invest in improving and developing his quarterback and try to win football games the right way. So while you may not see an immediate, huge, big step in success this season, you will see improvements from Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars offense. And Doug Peterson, I think, will have a big part to do with that.
Yeah, for me, I'm only looking at one thing. It's pretty simple. I'm looking at how sad Jacksonville Jaguars fans are going to be by week 15 when they have 1 win or 2 wins, and they're starting to talk about we should have got a different coach and we need a new quarterback. Trevor Lawrence is not the answer. It's just unfortunate because
wait,
Jaguars fans.
Hold on. No, you're not going to disrespect us like this for
No.
Hold on. No, shut your mouth. You said only 1 win by around week 15, when week 15 rolls around. You have them at 4 wins. So if they are at 1 win when week 15 rolls around, that means when Dallas comes into town, we're going to kick their sorry ass is what's happening.
Yeah.
See,
this is what Jaguars fans do. This is what Jaguars fans do. They take it so personal. It's a little bit out of context, a little bit sarcastic. I don't necessarily mean one.
Okay, well, then don't be sarcastic. Then just say what you want to say.
I'll say it just like I have it on my paper. When Jacksonville is, let's see, they're 3-6. When they're 3-6, Jaguars fans are going to be like, this is not working. They're 3-7. We need to get better. 3-8. Oh no, Trevor Lawrence is not the answer. 3-9. We need a new coach. 3-10, 3-11, 3-12, 3-13. All the way until
stupid though.
No,
you just so stupid though.
What's stupid is every year Jaguars fans have a new excuse as to what they're doing wrong. Instead of letting the process play out, let a young team develop and get better and endure those 4 and 13 years. Endure those 5. Because Look at the schedule. They're not winning. The Jacksonville Jaguars are not going to go this year and win 10 games. But yet every Jaguars fan, if they go 4-13 and they end up with the number 1 overall pick again, is going to be like, same old Jaguars, spend $100 million, don't win no games, instead of just looking at what's on tape, allowing the players to develop and being okay with that. And that's the difference between a delusional fan, which you tend to be with Jacksonville, which is why you cut me off with them and not anybody else, and somebody that just looks at what they have and says, you know what? We're not a big market. We don't attract great free agents usually. We have a franchise quarterback that we drafted number 1 overall. We have to give him time to grow. Now he has a head coach who we think can do that. Do we expect that year 1? I'm sorry, I don't. And I do wish, AJ, you had some better names on the list of trying to support Doug Peterson than the names you posted, because that actually makes me a little bit worried. Because although Trevor Lawrence is a superior talent to those players, maybe outside of a Michael Vick, dynamic-wise, I now question, what has Doug Peterson actually done with
while they were there, they were fine. When they went on to other places where they fell off.
But I'm not looking for fine from Trevor Lawrence. Jacksonville can't have fine from Trevor Lawrence.
Agreed. That
is something I will agree with the Jacksonville fans on. He can't be just fine. He has to be a superstar. Otherwise, it was a loss. It's as simple as that.
7,000 yards and 50 touchdowns in 2 years. I mean, that ain't bad.
So the reason why I cut you off, though, was because, and we have to stop, like, we say this on the show all the time, and I'm not just talking about or defending Jacksonville Jaguar fans here. If anything, I'm not defending them at all. But we talk about it all the time. All fan bases have to come to grips with the reality on these things, okay? There are plenty of Texans fans out there that do the same thing that what you said, Jaguar. You're just not as close to Texans fans as you are with us two jabronis who are Jaguar fans.
I'm only speaking about the Jacksonville Jaguars right now.
I'm aware, but why didn't you say that when the Texans were up?
Because
why didn't you say that when the Lions were up yesterday?
Because the Texans didn't spend a first-round pick on Trevor Lawrence.
Okay, so why didn't you say that when the Bears were up the other day?
I did talk about the Bears.
You didn't talk about their fans, though. You didn't say, okay, Bears fans, you have to be patient with Justin Fields.
Vinny,
they have a new head coach.
Fan base,
they got a new head coach. Why?
You have to understand, the Bears fan base is not the ones I'm talking to. I hear you in the chat and Dylan in my chat. I haven't seen a Bears fan.
This is exactly what I just said. You're confirming what I just said.
They don't talk to me. What I'm saying is I'm talking directly to you because
you
are the one I've heard. You are the one I've heard.
But I just said this. I literally these are the words that came out of my mouth. Listen closely.
I heard you.
I said to you, the reason why that you are doing this for the Jaguars and you're saying that, it's Jaguars fans do this. All fans do it. And this is what I was trying to be neutral here. I was trying to say all fans do this.
But that's not the point. Because I'm very consistent, Vinny. When Cincinnati fans are delusional, what do I say? When Tennessee Titans fans are delusional, guess what? The only people that have chirped at me have been Tennessee Titans fans, Cincinnati Bengals fans, and you and Dylan. And mostly you when you get all in your feelings about the Jacksonville Jaguars.
To me, I just think all fan bases have to get a grip with the reality of what's actually happening with their teams. That's what I was trying to say. Not trying to attack you.
You did. You stopped me in the middle of my soliloquy.
You were singling out Jaguar,
because that's who we're talking about.
You even said it. Maybe I was being a little bit sarcastic. Maybe I was doing this and that. You were. Yeah. So I stopped you because you were being sarcastic.
I do that with every fan base that we're discussing.
You were not. No.
Vinny,
that
stop.
is not what happened.
Every time anybody from a fan base has talked to me personally that I have disagreed with, Bengals fans, I directly look at them and I tell them they need to get a grip. I don't do that with the Green Bay Packers or the Rams or anybody because they have.
But that's what I just said.
You're not listening. It's because they have not said anything to me. You have. You are a Jaguars fan and you've said something to me.
Do you want me to go on my phone and look up all the notifications of people saying things to you in the comment section on YouTube?
Yes, and I directly impact those. I've done it with Carson Wentz. I've done it with Washington.
To them, even if it's on the show or it's through comments, it's direct. It's not sarcastic. It's honest. It's there. It's saying what they need to do.
Oh, I've said there's sarcastic things before. When I talk about Carson Wentz being a turd and doing all this stuff, that's sarcasm. I am very respectful to these players in the NFL and knowing that they're NFL players. A lot of it is sarcastic, but what is not sarcastic is talking about the franchise and the state of the franchise that they're in. If the difference between you stopping me was 1 win versus me saying when they're 3-12, then I'm sorry. I should have said they were 3-12.
I stopped you because you were being sarcastic, and you were not.
I wasn't.
You said you were. That's the word. The word.
I said the one.
You literally said those words.
All right.
No, stop. I was being sarcastic when I said 1-13. I could. That's what I said. Easily could have said 3-12.
That's when I stopped you, because
so you wouldn't have stopped me if I would have said 3-12. If I'd have said 3-12, you wouldn't have stopped me.
No, because that's accurate. That is a potential record for the Jaguars. But you said 1-16, so that, and you were being, you know what you were doing. You said it yourself.
I mean, that also makes him correct that you're in your feelings, because we can be
sarcastic
about 1,000 things.
Exactly.
And it doesn't matter.
I am.
You don't stop me when I do that with anybody else. When I'm sarcastic about anybody else, Velus Jones being 100 years old, that's sarcasm. You didn't stop me. It's not realistic. No, exactly. It's Jacksonville. You're in your feelings. You're in your feelings.
You're right. I am in my feelings. But I was trying not to be in my feelings, because I was trying to say to everybody, to all fan bases, and everyone who watches this show, just to be realistic with your team's expectations, okay? That's what I was trying to say.
I was getting ready to go Javon Kinlaw on you and start yelling at you with food in my mouth.
That's fine. That's fine. My show will get the views, and apparently that jabroni is a god amongst San Francisco 49ers fans. I mean, we see it in the comments all the time. I digress. Let me get into my storyline here for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And it actually has a lot to do with what you just said and what I was trying to honestly say about the Jaguars. It's that we just seeing the step in the right direction for the Jaguars, even if it's whatever record, what's the records that we have? Even if it's 4-13, even if it's a 4-13 record, and they are doing exactly like maybe like the Detroit Lions did last year, they're losing games. It's a tough season, but you're still seeing that hope. And that's what the problem was last season for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And that's one of the reasons why we did kind of get upset last year with the Jags, is because there wasn't that many glimpses of hope. There was some. I'm not going to be ignorant and say there was none, but there was very little. There was not many glimpses of hope to be, okay, we can continue moving into a positive direction. And then it spiraled again, and we're back to square one again. We just want to see constant steps in the right direction. If it's 2 steps forward and 1 step back, I'm okay with that. It happens. They're a young football team. But I don't want to see 2 steps forward and 25 steps back because Urban Meyer kicked Josh Lambo. So like stuff like that. I'm not saying that it's going to happen again or whatever. I'm just saying we don't want to be set back as a team. And when you look at the standings, it looks like all of us do believe that the Jaguars are going to take a step in the right direction. Aaron, you have them at 4-13. AJ, you have them at 5-12. Dylan is a little excited and has them at 7-10. And I have them at 5-12, just like AJ. So Dylan, I'll direct this to you. When you look at the Jaguars schedule, where's the extra wins coming from that some people may think the Jaguars are going to lose?
I think they start hot. And when I say hot, I think they can beat Washington. We saw Carson Wentz against that team last year. That was pretty easy. The Colts, I mean, I'm telling you, it's Jacksonville. I said it last year, even when they sucked. Even when the Jaguars were dead-ass team last year, I said, watch out, the Colts are going to lose, because they always do there in Jacksonville. 2-0, right? Lose to the Chargers, lose to Philly. Houston, I think they win. There's 3. Lose to Indianapolis. They can beat the Giants, 4. They go on a tough skid before their bye. They lose all 3. They're at 4. They can beat Detroit 5. I think they split Tennessee at 6. I think they take the Jets at 7. If they don't take the Jets at 7, then they take Houston at 7. And I think that gets them their 7 wins.
It's not delusional. I will. It's not. And I will say this. I actually have them starting hot. That's what I told you. I have them hot in the sense of 3-4, which would be, I'm sure Jaguars fans would love that if they start 3-4. I think the biggest thing here is I think the middle part of that season is going to be tough for them, because those teams it's a tough schedule for the most part. When you get teams that are bad football teams, and they've been a bad football team, the games that we look at and say they should win, they're not there. So when you have them going against Houston, it's a division game, so you can have them splitting it. But when they play against Washington, you're like, yeah, Washington's a bad football team. so is Jacksonville. So that game becomes now a toss-up game. And if you lean Jacksonville, then so be it. And that's kind of what Dylan did to me. Is he those games that are like you can lean either way. He gave the edge to Jacksonville, which is perfectly fine. If Jacksonville won 7 games, you could come on here and I would be like, I'm not surprised.
I'd be jumping in the streets.
But I wouldn't be surprised either. Like, I really would not be surprised because they do have winnable games on the schedule, but are they going to be able to pull out those winnable games? And I just lean towards saying no in this case.
I have them going 0-4 to start the season. I have them losing their first 4 games and then
that
winning
Indy game. They're going to win. That's still it's still going to be hot in Jacksonville at that time. It's only week 2. And I like Dylan. There is something to be said as you haven't beat a team since 2012 or whatever it is
14.
at home.
Yeah.
That even counts London too. They even went across the pond and got their ass kicked.
It's tough.
I remember last year. I was that guy. There's no way Colts are going to lose Jacksonville last week of the season, and you guys convinced me to take them and talked me into it, and it happened. I will never doubt it anymore until it's over.
Shocking.
I went with all the teams getting their revenge on Jacksonville this year, and Carson Wentz beating them week 1.
No,
I think that, and then
I knew that record would never be broken, where the Colts will never win in Jacksonville again. When Cody Kessler beats an Andrew Luck playoff Colts team 6-0, then yeah, that's never happening again.
Something in the water.
I mean, last year was that prime example. Like,
I don't think there's a better example than last year, honestly.
True.
It was.
Carson Wentz or not, man. Like, I'm sorry, the Jags were not good enough to beat, or should not have been good enough to beat that Indianapolis.
Especially with what was on the line for Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Especially with what was on the line.
Yeah. Let's also not forget, Yannick Ngakoue is now an Indianapolis Colt.
Boy, he better go scorched earth.
Lots of revenge games.
He's so excited for that Raiders game.
He's been on 5 teams in 3 years. I don't know what's going on there.
He's been
He's got Minnesota. Yeah, getting it up. Vegas.
Baltimore.
Getting it up.
Vegas.
I forgot he was with Baltimore too. Wow.
Yeah. Jacksonville, Minnesota, Baltimore, Vegas, and now the Colts in 3 years.
And they play him all this year.
I thought he was I think he's a good player, but I mean,
no, he is good.
I love it.
He's been productive. He's been productive. Something's just not right there. Like maybe it's a personnel or a personality thing. I don't know. Something's not right there, but he is good.
Yeah. Agreed. All right. So our final standings for the AFC South looks like this. We all have the Indianapolis Colts number 1. We all have the Tennessee Titans number 2. We all have the Houston Texans. Oh, well, Dylan doesn't have the Houston Texans. We all have the Houston Texans in last, except for Aaron. Numbers are really hard for me. That's kind of what it comes down to.
Take the Michael Sherman math tutoring class.
I really should just go to
third.
Yeah. Yeah, we all have the Jags third, except for Aaron, who has the Jags last, and Houston third. Why do you have any reasoning behind that, Aaron, at all?
Why do I have the Houston?
Yeah, it's just one game. I'm not really going to look into it that much, but maybe you do have something on that.
Some of their game, it really came down to, for me, I do a lot based on home and away. And it came down to some of the games that I feel like they have at home that they can pull off against good teams. Remember I talked about upsets? I think when you play some good teams at home, I think they're likely to lay down because they expect to win. They come in there, they have letdown games. That's really what it boiled down to. I think I have them beating, like I said, I only have them beating two bad football teams, Washington and Jacksonville. But I haven't beaten Philly, Indy at home, and then going on the road to Vegas and getting them off of their bye week. So off of Houston's bye week, they come back, they play well there. But to me, Jacksonville just had a tougher stretch. After that Giants game, I have Jacksonville losing every single game until week 18.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's a tough stretch. ETN will be ready to go.
Yeah, he's ready.
Yeah,
he's cleared for practice. Should be 100% for training camp.
I think y'all are getting ready to have a pretty closer to a run-heavy style team this year anyways. I think that might be a step that kind of helps. I can see Doug Peterson keeping the line moving forward and having the usage of James Robinson and Travis Etienne.
Doug Peterson's going to throw that football all over the field.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
He likes to run the football.
I'm not sure where you're getting that in.
With who? Who was he throwing the football with in Philly? Who was he running the football with in
Michael
Philly?
Vick is on this list. Michael Vick is on this list, okay?
Doug Peterson is a quarterback. That man's going to throw the football.
Agreed. And all their signings in the offseason, too, led to pass.
James Robinson will get his, and they'll probably use ETN out of the pass game. So, but it's going to be about Trevor Lawrence and the step he takes.
Yeah, it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge.